this population problem is perhaps the most important developmental challenge we have to face. If we don't have a demographic transition, we will never have an economic transition, and that is a fact. The second thing is we need to have a greater nuance in looking at population and demography. Because Nigeria is one country, but it's many countries in many respects. Fertility rates in some parts of this country are like 8 child per woman. In other parts, they're 3. Okay, and it's extremely important to understand that. You also have huge variation in fertility rates determined by levels of education. So girls who have not completed secondary school tend to have, or women who did not have secondary education, tend to have more children on the average than those who have gone through secondary education. You also have variation around economic activity. So women who are employed or who are earning an income tend to have fewer children. So from this, we can begin to understand where the problem is coming from. We talk about a population growth of 3-point-something% in Nigeria. The reality is that most of that is coming from the northeast and the northwest. That's where we've got the largest number of people. It's where you have the highest fertility rates. It's where you have the highest number of girls who have not had an education, and it's also where you have the highest levels of poverty. So in addressing this for me, if you ask me what is the single most important mindset change we need to have to address population growth, it is to see the woman as a human being. As a human being like any other human being with rights to education, with rights to health care, with rights to protection against violence, with rights to protection against arbitrary divorce and abuse, with rights to earning an income. Now, it sounds very simple, but that is at the heart of the problem. So long as girls and women are seen as nothing but baby factories that are being produced so that they can be married and have children, and that is all they do, you're going to have this change. So from the perspective of Islamic law, what we tried to do in codification was to try to have a conversation where people understood that there are things that we interpret as tradition and think basically is Islam. And the great thing is that many Muslim countries have had reforms of family law. Look at Malaysia, look at Tunisia, look at Morocco, look at even Pakistan, look at Egypt. And we're able to talk to scholars and show them that Muslim jurists in other parts of the world have addressed these issues. Issues around at what age do you consummate marriage? What do you need for consent? And why do we have all this problem in the North? It's so cheap to marry anyway. You pay a small mahar bride price, you take a wife, her father buys you the bed, he buys you the chairs, and he's not obliged under Islam, so it's so cheap to get a wife. After so many years, she has children, you wake up one day and say, I divorce you. It's so easy to divorce her, and then you divorce her and chase her out of the house with the children and create poverty. There is no protection. Now, when we talk to citizens and treat population control as something people are supposed to do, we miss the point. It is not the responsibility of the woman to protect herself. Somebody has to say, under Islamic law, if this woman has children, she has custody of the children, the husband has responsibility for maintenance. You provide her a house. If a man divorces his wife with 5 children, and the court says, I take away the house and give it to the wife, he will think twice about divorcing her.